IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening once again. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Let me do this. And I should say welcome and thank you for stopping by. Just a little bit of a discussion about it, but stopping by the 377th episode of The Gong Heard Round the World. You can see it right here. Here's the gong. The gong, no sound effects. It's a live gong. And we're working all the time to people say, oh, I'd really like the sound of that gong. So it now has its own microphone. It's set and ready to go. In any event, you're into All Natural Being and said gong heard round the world broadcast as it happens. Thanks to our friends at Telestream. I like that. Telestream's Wirecast. Or as I mentioned earlier in the show, I guess you could say blame for those of you listening that are not fans. And admittedly, there's some of you out there. Either way, right here on IPMNation.com and now multicast live over at Facebook. If you want to watch the video, if you're hanging here in the thread, welcome. AllNaturalBeing.com and our Brian Brawdy app as well. But however you come to hang with us, we're always pumped to have you live from the Transitional Radio Uplink. Here, the former Mortal Up Uplink. No, the Outpost, I think it was. But in any event, here in Columbus, Ohio, with rebroadcasts on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, you know, all the usual suspects. Oh, soon, as I've mentioned before, not to be on Twitter. I keep posting all the negative stuff I can over on Twitter. See if I can't get them to bounce me. Greetings wherever you are, here in the Garden of the Mortals. I can't say that term without making that gives me goosebumps. The labyrinth of life itself. Your shot at running the table, at leveling out, wherever you see fit. And you don't need anyone's permission. Here's your chance to be mouth-watering to yourself once again. It's in your blood. Now we simply have to figure out the way of getting your mind to remember who you ultimately are. That's why we're here 5 nights a week, to be your amnesia buster, to be your friendly blue force, left of bang, if you will. Always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list, reinstalling and reinstating the true wit, wisdom, and wallop. I think it's a wallop of your inner whisper. Rebooting your robust, finding your ferocious, commencing your counterpunch, all in time to outbrew the brutal. I was saying to my friend Jim today, gotta bring the counterpunch. Gotta outbrew the brutal that is the cut and shuffle that fate can deal you on a daily basis, and for once and for all, bring your own bold. But before we hit it this evening, hello to my friends here in the United States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, my good friends in Ecuador, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa, Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Iran, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Argentina, Peru, Austria, Poland. To those joining us from all over the globe, it really is great to have you with us, and I truly am fired up today. Get some big news today. It's Sunday night, but big news nonetheless. I'm fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be your virtual hitchhiker, to be your vaccine from the vapid. And if you're on the go, you know what I love about riding shotgun? getting to hang out with you. So what are we waiting for? Here's our opportunity, once and for all. Like the sign says, mortal up. It's time to like the way you think. It's time to be your all-natural being. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And I got a lot of news that I want to get to this evening. And I know you're thinking to yourself, oh, Bri, you know what? We didn't know. You read the New York Times, right? Well, I have to be honest with you. The 3 or 4 times I've read it in the past, I've always been in it. And let me just say, for those of you following along, if you're not the top fold, are you really ever in a newspaper? Got to be top fold, baby. Top fold, or it doesn't count. That's all I'm saying. But I almost did a special show Friday just because I couldn't believe this article. It really got to me. And I thought, you know what? Let me figure out a way of saying, all right, I'm about done. This isn't going to work. If it's written in the New York Times, I'm like, are you kidding me? But first, I have a producer. Come over here, sir. Executive producer that wants to say hello. Come on up here real quick. You got the sniffles? Yeah. You're the one that brought it home, pal. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Say thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Zumi says hi.
Zumi says hi, too. Say, I hope you have a great evening.
I hope you have a great evening.
Okay, about any time now, my attempt at escape is going to be caught. I'm going to be found out that I'm been on the lam. Here comes the warden. Say bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right, so in any event, I almost did a show Friday night because I read this and I went, you know what? This is just nuts. We can't be talking like this. It's just crazy. So yes, New York Times. I know. Believe me, right? Oh, not that I'm not a fan of the huge holiday advertisements, all over the paper. But I just thought I would read this to you real quickly. I thought about calling it New York Times Bedtime Stories. Maybe we'll start that kind of segment here at All Natural Being, calling them bedtime stories. But David Brooks says it's not the economy, stupid. We're enjoying one of the best economic times of our life. GDP is growing at about 3.5% a year, which is about a point faster than many experts thought possible. We're in the middle of the second longest recovery in American history. Second longest recovery. And if it lasts another 8 months, it will be the longest ever. If you were born in 1975, you've seen the U.S. economy triple in size over the course of your lifetime. The gains are finally being widely shared. Yet, are we happy? About 60% of Americans are dissatisfied with the way things are going in this country. Researchers said in a recent Gallup Share Care Well-Being Index, interviewed 160,000 adults in 2017 to ask them about their financial security, social relationships, sense of purpose, and connectedness to the community. Last year turned out to be the worst for human well-being, the worst of any time since the study began a decade ago. So why such the long face? Brooks goes on to ask. But the biggest factor in the crisis, he says later in the article, people, especially in the middle and working class slices of society, are less likely to volunteer in their community, less likely to go to church, less likely to know their neighbors, less likely to be married than they were at any time over the past decades. In short, there are fewer resources to help them ride the creative destruction that is the present market economy. And they are dying. On Thursday, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported that life expectancy in the United States declined for the third straight year. This is an absolutely stunning trend. If affluent, well-connected societies' life expectancies rise almost as a matter of course. The last time the American mortality rate fell for 3 straight years was 1915 to 1918 during World War I and the flu pandemic. Took, according to the author, 670,000 American lives. And yet we are. And he calls it straight up a social catastrophe. So I'll spare you the rest of the article. But what he goes on to say is that, we need to find out a way of strengthening the social fabric, right? The social fabric of society. Have you ever heard such a crock of baloney? Because if we don't work at strengthening our personal fabric, then you weave together vapid and vapid, you just get more vapid, you just get more porous. So instead of always worrying about, the cohesiveness of the social fabric How about the cohesiveness of your fabric? What are you bringing to the table? What are you doing every day? What am I doing every day to put our heart's highest priority top of the list? What are we doing to bring our own bold? And then you look at the opioid epidemic. You look at some of the things going on. One of the reasons the life expectancy had dropped is because of suicides. There was a big suicide in the news today. Some general over in the in the Mideast fleet. So what has happened given a human brain? Right? The divine grants us a human brain, not a lobster brain. Yeah, I can see if in mass they go, I just can't deal with it anymore. I'm a lobster. I climb around all day long and on the bottom, I'm a lobster. And I got to wait for someone to pick me up in a trap. I'm a lobster. I'm out of here. I'm going to take one of my claws and end it. But you don't have a lobster brain. As humans, we have a human brain. Now, I know before anyone starts in, I'll get over here in the thread, but let me just say, before anyone else starts in, suicide has absolutely touched me in my family. I had a father commit suicide. I had a best friend commit suicide. I had a first cousin commit suicide. So I have a little bit of an understanding of what suicide brings. And I can tell you in studying it for over 30 years now, there's always a precursor to the biological suicide, which is the philosophical suicide. And I guess I would ask, if you look at an article like that where everything's up, 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 why is everybody so down? Why is everybody so sad? Let me say hello here in the thread quickly. John, thank you for joining us. Candace, nice to see you again. Henry, hey there, Blyden, I'll let them know. Mary, hello to you as well. Thank you for joining us here at All Natural Being. Candace, yes, you're talking about, right, you got to be talking about Blyden. You can't be talking about me. But yes, I'll let him know, Candace, he is very cute. Thank you. And what's hysterical is he sneaks down here. So usually it's only after he gets seen on camera where they go, oh, wait a minute, there's been a breakout, right? Someone goes, they grab this little thing and they go, hey, wait a minute, there's a breakout. Blyden's on the loose. Blyden's on the loose. This is not a test, right? Something like that happens. You get the drift. But thank you, Candace. I'll let him know. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday, and to you too, John. Kenneth, nice to see you. Thank you, sir. I will tell him you said hello. Thank you very much. It's opioids and suicide rates that lower life expectancy. Candace, I could not agree with you more. Joseph Haggerty, greetings and salutations to you as well. Kelly, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Rita, thank you for joining us. The article, cherry pickled. I love that term, cherry pickled. Oh, you know what? You said it right. I said it wrong, but I love cherry pickled. Cherry picked. And most likely the skewed numbers in favor of the narratives. I would absolutely agree. Candace, I love all the inaccurate percentage projections like butts. Everybody has one. I'm with you, Candace. I think the overall, thank you so much. Thank you, Kathy, for joining us here at All Natural Being. I think the overall gist is everyone could say that outrage is the new black. Everybody and their brother. Good evening, David Ray Bowman. You are on the phone, but I am on the megaphone. That's right? So I go, okay. And it'd be nice because, I'm here in the basement. I could just turn this thing on and go, hello? There's been a break. There's been a break. Security. Security. But I don't have to do that, right? Because now I just wait for him to be seen on air. And then if someone goes, oh, wait a minute, something's up, he shouldn't be down there. Matt, thank you. And thank you for hanging out with me earlier on our new 7 o'clock show, 7 o'clock Sunday nights Eastern time. We're doing the Sneak Speak. So if you're wondering what's going on IPM Nation, you're able to come by on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. Tonight we had the incomparable Henry G. Noel from Thinking Re-Envisioned. He was on to tell us what he'll be talking about this week. And Matt and I will interview other guests and talk about host bios and everything else. It's really difficult to listen to how great things are when you are financially suffering. 99% employment doesn't matter when you are the 1% unemployed. Amen to that. I'm simply saying it even in some of the most down times, and I've had a few of them of late, even in the most down times. You find the reason to be happy. You find the reason to say no to the edge, to say no to the shotgun, to say no to the closed garage door with your car still running, to say no to stepping in front of a tractor trailer with all the excuses in the world to say yes. I'm one step above a lobster. You find a way within the human wherewithal to go, no, I'm not going to do that. So like I said, I almost did a special show Friday night to going, really? And now you're forcing me to read the New York Times? What has the world come to? So at the end, to make the crucial differences, economic policy makers are going to have to get out of the silos of their economic training and figure out how to economic levelers that can have a moral, communal, and sociological effect. The once and future worker begins with this exploration, blah, 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 blah. It's not jobs, jobs, jobs anymore. It's relationships, relationships, or relationships. I guess, okay, with that part, I'll agree. It's relationships, relationships, relationships. So let's have one, right? But the first relationship begins with the one that you have with the mirror. The first relationships, as people here in the thread know, is that when you tap into your all-natural being, when you decide once and for all to mortal up, that's the relationship that matters. And if we were to do that and worked on our personal cohesive fabric, instead of always worrying about the societal fabric, we'd be in a lot better way. Joseph says, the more free time we have without tasks or good deeds, it gives us more time to get into trouble, to compare to other than are perceived to be happier. I would agree with you. Candace says, okay, how do we get all the lazy butts to work? And I'm not even so certain of that anymore, because you know what, Candace? What's the old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I'm talking about just, if the article ends by saying it's all about relationships, 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 then what are we doing to be special to ourselves? Because ultimately the first relationship, that line, good friend of mine and I were talking last week, that line, what is that plumb line? What is that dive line? What is that dividing line that you just know? Say, hey, well, this is the line. This is the line in the sand that I'm drawing. Mary says, yes, we need the economy to be good enough to have food and clothing. But then beyond that, if people are looking for happiness in a great economy, they're going to be empty and disappointed in the end. I couldn't agree with you more, Mary. Quick commercial note. Thank you so very much for all the parents that sent their kids to school with strep throat, so that the Petri dish that my son studies in, one of my sons studies in all week long, that conjured up this broth of yuck, as I like to call it. Thank you so very much for sending him home with that. I just don't think my immune system is up to handling what some of these young people can create anymore. Good God, people talk all the time, oh, I don't know how you could listen to that music. Music. I don't think my immune system is ready to handle some of this stuff that they cook up when they put everybody together. Oh, you know, all these little kids in a pre-K or a kindergarten, put them all together. Talk about a broth. Wayne says, when you talk about the 1% unemployed, you must also look at why. There you go. Another good point. But for me, it comes back to this. What are you doing to create a fabric that you're comfortable with, that you're pleased with? What are you doing to recognize your potential just this side of truly unlimited, of the infinity symbol that is you? What are you doing to fall in love with that all over again? As I said in the open, you have the absolute, everyone says, oh, it's a right. It's a right. The only right you have is the right to like the way you think. Do you like the way you think? Is it empowering you? Is it giving you what you need? Or is it chop blocking you at every turn? Is it something that no matter what you try, you just don't get off your own back? You turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to who you are at your core. Henry says, each person, Brother Wallman, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us here on All Natural Being. Henry says, each person is responsible for their own happiness. It's not up to society to make you happy. I would agree, Henry. And I would say to you, not only isn't it up to society, excuse me one second. A quick shout out and friend, thank you to my good friend. I can't ever, whenever I have a drink of filtered water here in the studio, the Athens Area Libertarian Party, my good friend Doug Harmon, thank you so much for the glass and the opportunity to speak. I think Henry's absolutely right. But even more so, then it's not up to the government. Oh, well, we need the government to get involved and help us with relationships. Or this nut running New York City says, oh, I envision a day where the government owns absolutely every piece of property. It gets to say who builds where, who lives where, who commutes where, who this, who that. Yeah, you did such a great job when you got a couple of inches of snow a couple weeks back. Yeah, that's the type of guy I want, socially planning everything. Whatever that nut's name is, I forget. I dip my kids in paraffin every morning. Well, thank you. It's just like getting like some ski wax, right? Like you're getting them ready to send them off to school. I'm going to start dipping myself in paraffin. I did a show earlier with a scarf on. I mean, my mom knitted me the scarf, so I loved it, but I had the chills so bad I couldn't stand it. I don't know what. Oh, speaking of the chills real bad, and here in just a couple minutes, we're going to be taking a call, but I have some. I let my kids eat dirt. Thank you, Mary. I was thinking about you earlier, Matt and Henry, on the earlier show called Sneak Speak. decided that I would be a perfect candidate for homeschooling, right? And I agree. I don't get along. Yeah, I'm the last person you want standing in line at a checkout at a grocery store. I don't get along with a lot of folks. And I've got homeschooling written all over me, so we're looking into that. Kenneth says, I'm drinking filtered water too. Yes. I got to tell you, well, we'll talk about that at some other point, but filtered water is absolutely the way to go. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't want to forget to mention this, but we have met with all the doctors, right? Big day, all the different things going on. Here's life according to Brian for everyone that has texted me and tweeted me and called me. Thank you so very much. Let me do this real quick. We'll take a call. Good evening. Thank you for calling All Natural Being. Who's this?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you're on the line. In case you don't recognize the melodious tones of the voice that is the incomparable Henry G. Noel from Thinking Revisioned, he'll be live here, and, if Wayne gets his way, in 9 minutes and 18 seconds. Wayne is such a tough man. And now he's got Joseph teaming up with him. Joe Haggerty's teaming up with him. If you need help on homeschooling, Joseph, brother, if you only knew. But see, I would let Joseph homeschool me. You see his spread he's got going on out there. I could pitch a tent. I could live in a teepee. I could live in an RV.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful. And I'll tell you something. You know what I love about your place, Henry, and then also about Joe and Mary's place? You can look up and see the Milky Way. To me, that will be the ticket in life for me. When I can go out, not in the city, right? Ask Kelly what it's like living here in beautiful the suburb of Columbus, Ohio. You look up and it's all light pollution. You can't see the Milky Way. I would love to live on a part in the world where you go out and you go, oh, I'm going to run out to the truck to get my keys. I forgot my sunglasses. And then you're gone for 3.5 hours because you're just mesmerized by the Milky Way. Just be great.
I think we have been deprived a lot over the years of losing out on connecting to nature as well as being able to see the stars and the rest of the universe. It is just absolutely, it's breathtaking. It places you in the position we belong, which is really minuscule in the scheme of things, and it really does establish your priority as to what is really important. And it's just, to blend into nature like that is just amazing.
And I think that's the perfect word, Henry, is to blend into it. To go out and go, my mailbox is a mile up the road. I'm going to go walk and check the mail, right? And then you're gone for like 8 hours because you're just immersed. It's just like the term that I coined before was weticulous, right? Just weticulous. Like you bathe in it. It just drenches you. And I can't. Got to wear bear and mountain lion repellent. Yes. See, that's what I'm talking about. Ask Kelly. Here in the beautiful suburb of Columbus, Ohio, where I live, if you covered yourself totally in Cairo and change yourself to one of the white fences that are ubiquitous, you may get a coyote to come up and sniff you. But that's exactly what I'm talking about, Joseph. You wear something, right? Or beat a spoon on the bottom of a pot. I tell Sue all the time about wearing your sunglasses and backwards on your head for mountain lions. There is something about the Milky Way, Henry, right? And I know, Henry, I got to ask you about your show tonight, so give me this one other thing. There's something about the Milky Way, and I've said all the time, all along, there is something about not being on the top of the food chain.
That's
right. If you go out for a walk and you go, I better make some noise. I better know the difference between a grizzly bear with cubs and a male grizzly bear. I better know that the moment I go out the door, mountain lions are watching me. That's living.
Yes, it is.
Well, you go out here and you go, I caught a chill. It's vicious weather. No, vicious weather is in the mountains. When you wake up when you get outside of your tent and mountain lion tracks are around your tent. That's living. Just saying.
That's living.
Living.
It sure is. Oh, my gosh.
That's living. Oh, speaking of living, I wanted to announce, everyone, before we talk about tonight's show, to announce to everyone that the 14th, which is now just 12 days away, but the 14th of this month, I'm going under the Dremel. Going under the... Wow. Yeah. I'm going back to the Columbus Cranium Shack. And on the 14th, they are going to remove... two bits of breaking news. They're going to remove my shunt. And, you ready for this, Henry?
Yeah.
I get to bring it home. He said to me, hey...
You're going to save it as a souvenir.
Yeah, save it as a souvenir. He goes, hey, you got a little plastic bag? And I had one here somewhere. I had someone looking for... Where? Somewhere. Yeah, but I'm going to take a plastic bag, so I'll be able to bring and show you all the nemesis of the last 2 years of my life, and I'll be bringing the shum home. But yes, I go in. So here's what I'm thinking, Henry. I will do.
I'm so glad that they're honoring that certificate you got for a return visit. So that's great.
Yeah. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go right to the Columbus Cranium Shack. Bring your own Dremel.
Exactly.
And Joseph says, walking around with the animals like that gets your adrenaline going. Yes, it does. Yum. Well, see, that's just like Brother Wallman, because he's like, Yum. He's such a great chef that he looks at it and goes,
fabulous.
Let's put some yum to it. I gotcha. So, yes, that's what we're going to do. It's going to be a Friday night, so I'll be off air. And then, the doctor was talking to Ashley, and the doctor's like, it's a simple thing. And I said to him, I go, oh, well, can I stay awake during it? Can I talk to you? Can you take, pictures? Right? I want to see a live picture of the inside of my brain. He goes, nah, we're going to knock you out and this and that. You know what I mean? I said, all right. And he goes, yeah, like a 15-minute procedure. We'll keep you for a day, then we'll send you back. And so my goal is to do the surgery on Friday the 14th. And then I'll be back late, and then day or night on Friday the 14th. I'll recover Saturday, and depending upon how it's going, I'll wear a ball cap and everything else. But I hope to be back up. Let me see. Time's up, Wayne says. Oh, some new emojis. Look at the phone. Must mean he's trying to call me. All right, well, listen, my clock says I got 3 minutes and 57 seconds left. So maybe that was a preemptive emoji.
Who said that they wanted to? I think he wants to make sure that you get off the air on time. Hey, tell the docs, though, they got to take a picture, because I really want to see what the 183 IQ brain looks like.
What it looks like. Yes, I do, too. And I have to tell you something. Thank you so much for that. That's a plug. Tell all your friends. Another thing, and he said, oh, well, we can't, because of germs, we can't hold a phone, right? We can't be operating our phone because there's germs. And I go, and we can't get a drone in here? I'm all over a drone flying above the operating table, right? A drone flying, right? So, yeah. You just see Candace's post? It says he has to knock you out so you can't talk. You know what, Candace? I think that's it. You know what? I think you're absolutely right, my friend. I think you could be awake for the surgery, but he goes, here's my chance to get 15-minute in peace of quiet with Brian in the room, and he won't say a word. I think Candace is onto something. They want to shut me up. So that's the big breaking news. All right, Henry, so that Wayne doesn't get mad.
I better hang up, because otherwise my brother will just walk away.
You got 51 seconds. You got 49 seconds, 48, 47 seconds. What are you talking about tonight?
Love it. We're going to go ahead and talk about, are we really able to live together peacefully as a human race? Is humanity really worth, or are we really ready to give up a world of fear, hate, and discrimination? Or can we just simply not do it? So it's going to be an interesting thing, and I'm going to start off with a good quote from George Carlin. So, one of them serious guys. So
yeah, I love it. You know what one of my favorite quotes from Carlin is? He needs a junk drawer for all of his stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, all your stuff. So that's why I ask people all the time, what's all your stuff worth? Dump out the junk drawer. All right, brother. Excuse me. I'll let you go so you can get ready for your show. Okay. They're going to put the post that they can connect right to your show in the thread. Henry, thank you so very much for calling in tonight. We will talk to you later.
Everybody.
All right, brother. Good night.
Okay, man.
Have a great show. All right, so in order to make it on time, Wayne is already sending me emojis. I'm sure Joe is queuing one up here as well. We have 1 minute and 49 seconds left. So here's what I would say. Regardless of the New York Times, regardless of all these other things, I saw George years ago. So did I. Again, this great guy. Regardless of all the things that people are telling you as to why you should be sad, why you should be disgruntled, why you should be outraged, why you should be offended, why you should be, right, blah, 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 trolls, one and all, right? Where's my troll? Troll, right there. Troll. How about just be happy with who you already are? And if we're going to work to build some sense of a cohesive fabric, let's make it our personal cohesive fabric. And stop asking the government, thank you, Wayne, for putting up the link. Stop asking our government to go, oh, well, we need laws, we need rules, we need restrictions, we need, what is his name? Oh, right, okay, the mayor of New York. Oh, we need to control all the buildings. How about controlling a snowplow? But in any event, I digress. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap it so we can turn the signal over to Henry G. Noel and Thinking Re-Envision. He's got a great show planned. He's got a great question. Look, everyone says, oh, we should reach across the aisle. Oh, kumbaya. Oh, we should all try to get along. Is it in our blood? Can human beings really ever get along? Can we do that? Thank you, Alice, very much. I enjoyed hanging with everyone this evening. Thank you. Joseph says, it's people telling you what you want. That's the problem. I am so with you. Although, if I agree with you, then I'm one of the people telling you what you want, I guess, Joseph. I got to be careful. No, Joseph, I absolutely disagree. All right, we're going to get out of here in 19 seconds. Ha, Wayne. See ya tomorrow night here on All Natural Being.
IPMNation.com.